When you think about warfare, you probably think of land, sea, air, and, cyberspace. But what if the most critical battlefield of our time isn't physical at all? What if it's the one that's right inside our heads? That's what we're digging into today, the incredibly dangerous and rapidly emerging global risk of cognitive warfare.
Okay, I want you to imagine something for a second. Picture this. It's the morning of February 28, 2026. News is just starting to trickle out about U.S. and Israeli strikes on Iranian nuclear sites. The official sources, they're still scrambling to confirm the details, but honestly, it's already too late.
Before the Pentagon or the White House can even get a full statement out, social media is an absolute flood. We're talking slick, AI-generated videos showing massive, totally exaggerated destruction. You've got other clips showing fake missile strikes in cities that were never even on the target list. And by the time the real information starts coming out, hundreds of millions of people have already seen the lies. The battle for the narrative? It was lost before it even began.
Now, it's really tempting to look at a scenario like that and think, okay, so this is just more fake news, right? A bigger, faster disinformation problem. But that right there is precisely the wrong way to look at it. And this misunderstanding is at the very heart of the West's biggest blind spot.
See, the goal isn't just to make you believe one false story. The real target is your mind itself. This is not a problem for content moderation. This is a problem of strategic defense.
So let's get the crucial definition on the table. And this comes from NATO. Cognitive warfare is a contest over cognition itself. The target isn't the content you see, but the very process of how you see it, how you make sense of it, and ultimately, how you decide what to do. It is literally an attack on our ability to think clearly. And this slide just shows the gap in our thinking perfectly. On one side, you've got the old framework we're all used to, content moderation. It's reactive, right? It tries to clean up fake stuff after it's already out there. It treats this like an editorial problem. But on the other side is the new reality, cognitive warfare. This is proactive. It targets our ability to make sense of the world before we even see the content. This is a strategic defense problem, plain and simple.
And this is the absolute key takeaway. The ultimate goal here isn't to persuade you to believe a lie. The goal is to make you so confused, so uncertain, and so distrustful that you are completely incapable of a coordinated response. An adversary doesn't need you to agree with them if they can just leave you paralyzed.
And look, this isn't some far-off hypothetical threat. It is happening right now as we speak. So let's look at a few real-world examples of how adversaries are already weaponizing cognition. As you can see, this playbook is being run by multiple state actors all over the globe. We're going to touch on three key campaigns: Russia's operations targeting the West over Ukraine, China's incredibly sophisticated campaign against Taiwan, and that potential Iran conflict we talked about, where AI could be a total game changer.
Russia's campaign is honestly a masterclass in this stuff. Their main goal is to break the West's decision-making cycle, something military strategists call the OODA loop. By just creating noise and confusion, they attack our ability to observe what's really happening, orient ourselves to the facts, decide on a course of action, and then act. They're attacking every single step of that process, from trying to erode public support for Ukraine to amplifying social divisions right here at home.
Now, what's really fascinating about China's campaign targeting Taiwan is its sophistication. It's not some big burst of activity around an election. It's more like a continuous, low-level hum of disinformation. By blending AI with human oversight, they're aiming for something much deeper than just simple deception. The real goal is to create a state of epistemic paralysis, to completely destroy citizens' confidence in their own ability to tell what is real and what is fake.
Okay, so if the threat is this clear, why is the Western response falling so short? I mean, it's not a lack of resources. The problem is a fundamental failure of our institutional architecture.
Well, let's break down why. Our response is completely fragmented. As this table shows, we've split the responsibility across different agencies that are each solving the wrong problem. Our intelligence agencies are looking backward. Our foreign ministries are focused on messaging, kind of assuming a better message can win. And the tech regulators, they're stuck on content, ignoring the attack on cognition itself. Everyone's got their little piece of the puzzle, but nobody is looking at the whole picture.
And what this fragmentation creates is this massive strategic mismatch. Adversary operations work on a minute-by-minute timescale, flooding the zone instantly. But rebuilding the very thing they're targeting, which is trust, that requires decades of patient investment in things like journalism, education, and civic health.
This asymmetry, this mismatch in timing, that isn't an accident, that is the strategy.
So how do we fix this? How do we possibly forge a strategic response that can actually meet this challenge on this new battlefield? All right, so the path forward really requires three big fundamental shifts. First up, we have to officially recognize cognition as a fifth domain of competition and give it the same resources and strategic thinking as the others. Second, we have got to break down those institutional silos and create an integrated whole-of-government response. And third, and this is the hardest part, we have to build resilience at home.
Because here's the uncomfortable truth. Foreign disinformation doesn't create our social divisions. It just finds the cracks that are already there and pries them wider. So a real defense, then, isn't a better messaging strategy. It's a governance challenge. It's about strengthening the social trust that makes us less vulnerable in the first place.
And if you think this is some niche issue, just get this. The World Economic Forum ranked disinformation as the #2 short-term global risk for 2026. That's ahead of interstate armed conflict, ahead of climate extremes, ahead of societal polarization. This isn't a fringe issue, it's one of the central security challenges of our time. So at the end of the day, we have to ask ourselves if the cognitive battlefield is truly the West's most dangerous blind spot, and maybe the one getting the least strategic attention. Are we doing nearly enough to prepare for the conflicts that will be fought there? Are we actually ready?